The bourse has been showing it's been in negative territory over the past few days. Take us through if the bourse is showing an upward trend today.
Well, it hasn't quite been the sort of reversal that might have been wished for. But selling pressure abated to a reasonable extent today. In the financial space, for instance, the likes of Guaranty Trust Bank, Sky Bank, UBA closed higher. Even in the non-financials, BCC, Spainway Cement, WAPCO, Guinness closed higher. I think what we are experiencing is investors starting to sort of bottom fish or basically bargain hunt. Discounts are deepening as the declines continue. And astute or sophisticated investors are taking the opportunity really to get stocks at pretty decent prices at the moment.
And how long do you expect the profit taking to last for?
Well, I mean, on the one hand, of course, current attractive valuations are very positive for a re-entry into the market at the moment. On the other hand, of course, there's still a lot of jitters in terms of expectations ahead of the release of the central bank audit results. Now, how investors balance that is the key issue. But I think for most investors, the realization is that the sort of volumes that we have now in the market might not persist in the aftermath of the release of the audit results. At that point, once there's much more clarity in terms of what the CBN has in stock for the banks, then a lot of investors might start to hoard their equities and might be less inclined to sell. So most large institutional investors should be taking this opportunity now to ramp up basically their equities.
Let's talk about Nigeria Pepsi franchise. We're seeing a scenario where it's down 10%, but 7-Up, the turnover is up. How come?
Yeah, 7-Up released its full-year figures for the period to March 2009. Its top line was up to about 35 billion, up about 14%. But its earnings after tax were down about 5% to just about 1.5 billion naira. Now, 7-Up has engaged in lots of product expansion initiatives, such as through the release of the Pepsi Light product, for instance, as well as a number of other product development initiatives. Now, those have come at a cost. And that has been debt, really, a lot more debt on its balance sheets. Now, under current economic conditions, debt isn't very cheap for any company. And what that has meant is pretty high interest charges. So whilst we've seen its top line, grow, it's basically had to take a hit on the bottom line, especially as it's financing a lot of these initiatives using short-term financing. Its short-term debts grew over 100% from about 4 billion a year ago to over 8 billion naira at the moment. I think the company will have to look into, somehow restructuring that, reducing its cost, and of course, extending the tenure of such debts.